It's a Score North Twin Show.
Okay. So it's a rare live edition of the Score North Twin Show here, at least like the full show. Declan does his live extra innings. Declan is the resident Twins beat podcaster. He's at Target Field right now. Judd, we're coming in hot from the Purple Daily live feedback Friday. And I've been like just sending like stuff to our producers. So I have no idea. Declan said we should probably go live based on the news I just learned from the Twins clubhouse. I have no idea what he's talking about yet, so you can break the news to me and the audience while we are live on the Score North Twin Show YouTube channel.
Hey, just a quick production note. Could you guys hear that intro? I couldn't hear it at all.
Yeah, we could hear it.
Okay, weird.
It dropped out for a second, but it's fine.
I don't know why and we had this issue on an extra.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah, our pets' heads are falling off. I can't hear the damn intro. I was like, are we going a cappella again?
Give us the update.
Give
us the update as I try.
Do you have to snap the arm off of Joe Ryan's?
No, I'm trying to nurse it back to health. I'm hoping
it's
okay.
That's the wrong arm, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
I'm trying to nurse it back to health.
Technically the wrong arm. If you could take that arm and replace it with the muscles on the other arm, then I guess maybe we could do something there. But yes, a ton of injury and roster updates here on the Score North Twin Show. I was down in Clubhouse there for the last hour. We will talk also to Derek Falvey, who will have some maybe more clarification and more updates closer to first pitch. So I guess follow me on Twitter for any updates on that. But let's start with the first one here. Joe Ryan. So Ryan left the game against the Cubs on Wednesday, motioned to the training staff, and he was removed from the game. He said he actually felt decent. He thought initially it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Well, Joe Ryan has a grade 2 strain in his tricep, and he will be missing more time, more significant time than originally thought. Probably more weeks than months, but weeks. Weeks for sure.
Matter when it's middle of August.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So Joe Ryan will be out for weeks, if not maybe the season. I don't know. That hasn't been declared yet. They weren't ready to say he's out for the year, but the Twins will be without Joe Ryan. He unfortunately will be going on the injured list with the grade 2 strain.
Wow. So with starting pitchers, think about like, let's say he's out for like minimum 3 to 4 weeks, just rest on the shelf, which again, that's like, if that happens, then you have a chance to get him back. It would then take another 2 to 3 weeks. For every week you're out as a starting pitcher, tack on up to a certain point, like tack on that many weeks of ramping back up, rehab, like building your bullpen and innings load. So like, it's fair to say there's a really good chance Joe Ryan, who's been their first or second best starting pitcher this season, is out for the year, and maybe out for, like, maybe if they go into October, now we're getting 2 months out, but it's not good.
Well, the problem too is that, so in addition to the fact that it's just going to take more time to come back, the more time that you're out is there's no guarantee that when you do come back, if you are trying to come back quickly at all, that you're going to be the same pitcher that you were previously as well. Like, it sounds to me there's no good way to spin this. Well, he might come back in October. Okay, but what's he like in October? Is he Joe Ryan, or is he a semblance of himself? What's his pitch count then? You know, so yeah, this sounds absolutely sort of like Tommy John. This sounds worst case for 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I wouldn't put it as Tommy John, but in terms of maybe being without him for the season, that's a possibility here. I know they announced the wild card schedule, so if the Twins were to play in the wild card round, that is October 1st. That is game 1 of wild card play. So October 1st through the 3rd is wild card play in MLB. That's literally about 7 weeks away. So maybe there's a chance he sits out for the month, but to Phil's point, has to build up strength, has to build up his arm again, and maybe could return, but I would be shocked if we don't see we will not see Joe Ryan for the month of August, and we'll see if he can maybe be ready in September.
I'll go back to what I said, though. The concern for me now is not can he get back for the playoffs. The concern for me now is losing one of your most important starting pitchers with no one to even come close to probably replacing him, when the wild card race and the entire race is going to be the hardest thing to get through. Like, if you can get to the playoffs and you can say he might come back, that's awesome. But the reality is this. You are in a wild card race that is exactly what baseball and fans should want, which is, it's crazy. Joe Ryan's loss might play a big role in precluding you from ever getting to the playoffs now.
Dude, this is, and hit us with the other negative news in a second here, but the standings are crazy right now because you legitimately, after this weekend, well, yeah, after you'd have to sweep the Guardians and like the Orioles would have to lose a couple games, but there's a fighting chance that after this weekend you could have the number 1 seed in the American League. You're also only 2 games up from being out of the wild card picture with the Red Sox, because right now it's Yankees are the number 1 wild card team. Twins are 3.5 back of the Yankees, and that, which by the way, I guess it'd be tough. The Twins could tie the Yankees in the standings if the Yankees get swept this weekend, so it's a long shot to take over the best record in the American League. But my point stands. You're 3.5 games from the top of the American League, and you are 2 games from being out of a playoff position now, and you have to hang on to that for the next 2.5 or I guess almost 2 full months down the stretch. All right, hit us with what's the other? Just give us all the negative news.
Next negative news, Brooks Lee is going on the injured list, so he was dealing with a shoulder issue. He had that taped up last weekend at the homestand. Apparently, I think the plan was for him to play today, and then he unfortunately woke up with some pain, so he is now going on the injured list. They weren't expected to use Kyle Farmer, but they are down bodies, so Kyle Farmer is back from his rehab. He had a big hit with the Saints last night. He is going to bat 9th. I believe at second base in game 1. But Brooks Lee, another big part of this Twins team since being called up. I know his bat has cooled off a bit, but has been a wizard defensively. The Twins will also be without Brooks Lee. He is going on the injured list with an arm injury.
Okay, am I also seeing that the chances of Brock Stewart coming back are now 0?
You broke down, and it just feels like I got to see more.
I had to go to the Twins feed now. Yeah.
Brock Stewart is also done for the season. He is having shoulder surgery. His goal is to be ready by spring training next year.
All right. So let me but let's talk.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Okay, let's talk about these though, okay? So Brooks Lee gets hurt. Kyle Farmer, prefer not to have to play him, but guys get hurt. Brooks Lee, like the Twins aren't complicit. There's no dereliction of duty here with Brooks Lee. It's going to happen. Correa got hurt. Sucks, okay? But like the Twins aren't to fault. Oh, why don't you have a shortstop to replace Correa? Because they simply can't. Brock Stewart's been hurt. He's been healthy. He's been hurt. Again, not a surprise. But they deserve to be dumped on for the starting pitching. They deserve every bit of heat that they get for this. This is their fault. Now, I never thought that Joe Ryan would get hurt. But let's be very clear here. We all cautioned them and warned them that even with Ryan healthy, they needed to add starting pitching. And they, in the Falvey Levine hubris, to me, said, oh, no, it's okay. We don't need to. And I'm not going to blame the Pohlads completely because they did take on a little bit of salary with the bullpen move for the guy from Toronto who walked the yard. Trevor Richards, okay? So, yes, the Pohlad thing bothers me, but I'm going to blame the front office because this, to me, there's a lot of things that it's baseball, it happens. Sports, guys get hurt.
Yeah.
But the Joe Ryan thing now, to me, you were tempting the baseball gods. You were saying, no, we're fine. And again, they might miss the playoffs in part because of this. That bothers me a lot.
I think this might be the 3rd best team, or I should say it this way. This is one of the 3 best Twins teams in the Target Field era. So there was the 2019 Bomba Squad. That's in the mix. The 2010 inaugural Target Field team was like a 94, 96 win team. Jim Thome hitting home runs off the flagpole, right? And there's been a couple other good. I mean, they've had a bunch of playoff teams the last handful of years. I think this is in that mix as one of the 3 best teams that they've had since opening Target Field. And in all 3 of those cases, They went into the trade deadline at the end of July, razor thin with starting pitching options, where you could say, hey, all right, if this current staff stays healthy, we hope, and if they all pitch at the peak of their capabilities, we hope, then at least we have a trio of starting pitchers that we feel comfortable enough with going into October, right? And so in 2010, they decided, yeah, we'll add Matt Capps, but we're certainly not trading Aaron Hicks for Cliff Lee, right? That would be, we can't give up our future center fielder, right? 2019, we'll trade for an injured Sam Dyson, and we'll go get like a sixth-inning reliever in Sergio Roma, but we couldn't possibly trade for a high-end starting pitcher to help the greatest power-hitting team in the history of Major League Baseball. And again this year, well, we really like the top of our rotation, right? Pablo Lopez is going to bounce back, and Bailey Ober and Joe Ryan. But again, in all three of those cases, the three best teams in the target field era of Twins baseball, if one guy gets hurt down the stretch, Michael Pineda gets suspended or whatever the hell that was in 2019, right? What happens when you get to the... And this team might not get to October, but what happens? You're starting Brian Dunsing at Yankee Stadium in 2010. You're starting Randy Dobnak at Yankee Stadium in 2019 with fans chanting Uber driver mockingly at him. And now, if you did get into a matchup at Yankee Stadium, again, or wherever you might wind up, if you make the playoffs, you're going to roll in with, I guess, Pablo Lopez is starting game one despite not being nearly as good as last year. Bailey Ober, Declan would fight for, but those are your first two starters.
Yep.
Who starts game three? It's the same conundrum you had in 2010 and 2019, because in the Derek Falvey era specifically, as we went over during the trade deadline fallout, philosophically, he does not make meaningful trades at the trade deadline. Only once did he go for a needle-moving set of trades at the deadline, and it was 2022, and it blew up in their faces. And here they sit, like, it's going to be a tough sled the next 7 weeks.
And forget the fans for a second. Forget us for a second. This is why the clubhouse was rightfully pissed off. Those who were willing to say off the record how they really felt, as opposed to the we're fine, we love our guys. But the guys that told the truth, this is where, look, everybody knows that weird things can happen. Guys can get hurt. I would argue that they should have gotten starting pitching depth with Joe Ryan healthy, but now it looks worse. And I told you guys going into the deadline, this team got off to a bad start. It looked like it might be a long year, and they worked their asses off, including the manager, to rebound and win games, right? And they deserved help. And what they gave them was Trevor Richards from Toronto, who looked a couple days ago like he probably should be DFA'd. I'm not saying he's going to be, but the point is, this is in that clubhouse. How do you think this sits now? Where Joe Ryan is out, which you can't be like, I can't believe a pitcher got hurt. Never happens. And they gave them nothing. I'd be pissed off. If I'm Correa, again, I'll go back to, I'd be really upset because I'm going to bust my ass to try to come back. And I know I'm going to play in pain. And what did you do? What was your response? Hey, Carlos, we believe in you, and we got you nothing. This was a guy who admitted he had a list. He had a list of guys that he thought would be good additions. This, to me, is karma biting you square in the ass, and I think you probably deserve it.
Yeah, and also I know the market for pitchers wasn't plentiful. I understand the Twins saying that, but after the most recent rankings, which came out by ESPN and Baseball America today, the Twins have a top 5 farm system across both those rankings. They were 4th in ESPN, I believe 5th by Baseball America. On the ESPN ranking, only the Dodgers, Rays, and Baltimore, who's just, littered with talent, had a higher prospect ranking than the Twins. And they get to use that going into the season. Next season, that's great. They have options. You have a plentiful prospect system. But if really the price to go get a Jack Flaherty or to go get whoever, an Eric Fetty or whoever it was too much for them, and now you have to literally start a rookie or a very inexperienced pitcher in a playoff game, yeah, that's quite the message to fans.
And we will get to an Immaculate Grid here to just put at least a fun end on this podcast, but I've seen his name pop up in the comments section, pop up on social media. We did an episode, was it last off season, or maybe it was, I can't remember. I think it was like last October or November, And for even like putting the episode out, we got hammered by Twins fans and Twins social media. But I'm going to ask it because there's only one needle-moving pitcher available to put on your roster right now because the trade deadline's over. And he's dominating the Mexican League. Would you call Trevor Bauer?
No. I would not. I'm not putting that in. As much as the clubhouse wanted a pitcher, I'm not putting that guy in that clubhouse. Zero chance.
The fact that you have to ask that question right now is the indictment on Falvey specifically. And the poll ads. And I'm telling you, here's the really frustrating thing. The poll ads, I'm sure, because Derek knows Trevor. They go back to Cleveland. I think they were cordial at one time, if not friends. So if Derek said, you know what, oh my God, we got to call him, I think the poll ads would say no. To which I would say, what were you doing when you could have added an arm? What were you doing? And you know what, just quickly too, this has pissed me off since it took place, and we talked about it briefly, but don't give me this. Well, everybody we called, you should have seen the price tag. You should have seen every price tag. Either you only called on top-end guys that you were convinced you couldn't get because you were told that you couldn't add significant salary, or you didn't do your job. We act like, well, they couldn't get an ace, so I'm not asking for an ace. I'm asking for pitching depth.
Well, and part of I have an answer on the Bauer thing too, so put a pin in that. We'll circle back. Again, it's been, I think, 6 different times in 8 years in the Derek Falvey era, the Twins have been a contending team at the trade deadline, a team that's either in playoff position or better or has aspirations to make a wild card spot. And only one time have they made like a real push. It was the Tyler Mahle who got hurt after 2 starts, and then a couple of relievers. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But philosophically, they have decided we don't believe in adding 2 teams at the trade deadline that could make a run in the playoffs. Like, that is what they do not believe it's worth giving up prospect capital at the trade deadline for players that can help you make a greater push in August, September, and October. As Judd said, it's part of your job. They either determine it to not be part of their job at the trade deadline, or they are being the front office and whoever would be in charge along with Falvey making these decisions, or they have decided it's just not worth robbing from the future, the prospect cupboard, to pay the current, right?
Yep.
On the Bauer front, man, like, I know it's easy to sit here and say, well, legally he was cleared of all wrongdoing, and he's sitting here at age 33, still with some prime years left. He's dominating the Mexican League. I think it's really suspicious that for the last 3 seasons, in a league where a bunch of teams are clawing for playoff positioning, looking to win World Series, looking to fill empty spots in rotations, that a guy that was one of the best pitchers in baseball at his peak before the legal troubles is still not signed. So there's clearly something about him that baseball knows and general managers and clubhouses know. And we've heard rumblings here and there, kind of a weird guy, kind of even like before the legal troubles, just kind of a cantankerous guy in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. I'm going to trust that 30 Major League Baseball teams with general managers that are fighting for their jobs year in and year out, if they aren't going to the Trevor Bauer well, there's a reason for it. So it's got to be a no for me. But it is the ultimate test of willpower, because he would be the best pitcher in your rotation, and he would slot right in for the last 2 months. But if there's a bunch of baggage that doesn't make it worth it, it feels like teams know more than maybe the public does at this point.
And he might be dominating the Mexican League. You can't say, in my opinion, he'd be the best pitcher on this team. I don't think we can say that. I don't think we can declare that.
If you're getting the version of him from 3 years ago, he would be.
Sure, yeah.
I will say this. The Falvey-Levine, to a lesser extent, because it's Derek's team, the Falvey-Rocco teams have never shown that they can come close to handling a problem character. So, like, they wouldn't be able to control him. That's the problem. Like there's never been... Every a-hole that they have put into that clubhouse has forced some type of implosion. They needed Nelson Cruz. They now need Correa. But, I mean, you go back. Donaldson, an everyday a-hole, right? Like, I don't think he was a criminally bad guy, but I think he was a jerk. They couldn't control him. That the whole Lance Lynn thing, right? That whole group, they couldn't control them. So Trevor Bauer would be, he might get you 5 wins, but that dude would be an atomic bomb in the environment because this Twins team has never shown that they can control problem children.
Yeah. So what is your rotation pecking order right now? So it's Bailey Ober, he's the best pitcher so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Pablo Lopez's
Number 2.
career would put him number 2.
Number 2.
He's got to be, yeah.
And then you'd probably go Simeon.
So Simeon is starting a road must-win playoff game, potential game 3.
Mm-hmm. And then,
with David Festa and
Festa being the other one, and then the 5th one is
Louis Varland coming in.
Is it Zebby coming? Like, what's the plan with?
He pitched well yesterday.
Matthews.
He pitched well yesterday.
And I'm not saying it's a good plan. I'm just asking.
Yeah, but he's also, I mean, that dude started in high, and look, he's having an amazing season. I think he might be a good piece for the Twins going forward, but he started in high A to start the year, and now he's rose to double A, and he's in triple A. He's a call away. He might be forcing the hand, obviously, with a pitching opening here, but for a guy that was starting in advanced, wasn't Randy Dobnak also pitching in advanced A ball to start the 2019 season?
I think so.
I'm not saying they had the same path and they had the same stuff, but I think it's a tall ask also to just assume that Zebby is going to come here and save the day.
Agree completely. You are correct, Declan.
So you really need, and then like just on the offensive side and the fielding side, Brooks Lee's been one of their best defensive players. You could argue that Brooks Lee, Carlos Correa, and Byron Buxton are their 3 best defensive players. Santana's glove at first base. So he's going to be out.
One other note, too. Justin Topa was rehabbing in St. Paul, and he threw an inning yesterday. The word is he is not ready. Is not
he hurt
ready.
Still, or is he just?
The velocity was down. They didn't say he was hurt. The words were he is not ready to be here yet.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he could hit me with his car, and I wouldn't know who he is. So at this point in time, counting on Justin Topa for anything in this 2024 campaign to me is a waste of time.
It's crazy, man. Well, buckle up, I guess. This weekend is still going to be baseball. I will say this: Cleveland deals with this stuff all the time, man. Going back to Corey Kluber's back problems,
they're
and
dealing with it now.
Bieber,
they're starting some rando from AAA today.
Yeah, and they still sit 20 games over 500 all the time.
Right.
So we'll see if the Twins can overcome it. By the way, we're giving away a 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV right now on the Score North app. How's that for positivity? Nearly an $1,800 value. You can register to win it in the Score North app. It's free to download the Score North app. It's a central hub for everything we do here across all of our podcasts. There's a listener rewards section. You can register to win this glorious 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV. All right, any other things, just news, Twins, before we get to an Immaculate Grid here, boys?
They are. Byron Buxton is playing in Game 1 today.
Okay.
I know we're recording this about 2 hours before first pitch, but Buxton will play in Game 1, and even Rocco is pretty hopeful both him and Royce Lewis will play in both games today on Friday in the doubleheader.
Is right-handed pitcher Scott Blewett going to help out? I saw his contract was selected.
Yes.
Scott Blewett, which I don't know today. I would call up a guy named Blewett, but that's a Twins thing.
There's
To
not
be
many
honest,
options.
Yeah, not many options, and also poor guy. I'm gonna assume here, he's had that name his entire life. So he could have an opportunity to change it if he wanted to. He didn't, but yes, Scott Blewett is also here as well. Got that going.
Hi, I'm Judd Blonsave. Come out and watch the Twins play games while I try to close them out.
It's Bob missed field goal, and I'm here.
Yeah. I'm Declan E9 Goff, here for the Score North Twins show.
Oh, my God.
Come join me at Vikings games.
Gosh. Let's do an Immaculate Grid challenge here.
We're doing the one from Monday, I take it, right? Is that the one
the one with like the one game at shortstop. Yeah.
My Chrome was being weird, so I have to share it on the Firefox. I don't think that matters, but you guys can see this, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I think we're good here.
Okay.
So here's what we're looking for the audio audience. We will explain this for the YouTube audience. You can see it in front of your eyes. We're looking for a twin who was a White Sox, a twin who was a Rocky, and a twin who played shortstop at least once. And we're looking for a Royal who was a White Sox, a Royal who was a Rocky, and a Royal who played shortstop at least once. And then we're looking for a player born outside the 50 United States who was a White Sox, also a Rocky, and then one who played shortstop at least one time. It might be fun to see how far we can go with exclusively Twins players across the board here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can.
Let's start with Twins anywhere. You guys pick a Twins
Okay.
player.
Do you guys remember in the Lariano trade, Pedro Hernandez,
Oh,
who was
damn
included
right.
back?
He was a Saint.
And a St. Paul Saint. I'm pretty sure he pitched for the Twins and then was starting opening day for the St. Paul Saints as an indie team a year later.
Yep, that's correct.
And he
Left-handed
pitched for
pitcher.
the Sox?
He did.
Okay.
He came over. Well,
He came in the trade.
He
I
was-
just didn't recall if he was a minor leaguer at the time.
he was. And so Eduardo Escobar was in that trade too. By the way, we have to shout out Hector Santiago as a potential option here.
Yep.
Just because he was a former, I say weekly in air quotes,
I
guest
mean,
on the old Mackey and Judd radio show.
If he wasn't born in the States, we could use him potentially here too, if we feel comfortable with that.
By the way, I guess it's possible Hector was born somewhere. I think he's from the Dominican Republic, but I'm
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
95% sure on
I'm
that.
not sure.
But yeah, I mean, Pedro Hernandez,
Okay.
legendary.
Where is... There it is. Okay. Yeah, I had to use a new browser for this. I apologize.
Pedro Hernandez.
Oh,
.07, dude.
Hey, there was a slappy catcher who caught for the Twins and Rockies, right? Like that group of catchers that
Drew Butera?
No. It was thought it was another name. Not as
Jason Ardois? Or Danny Ardois?
It was something like that.
Chad
I
Moeller.
thought-
No, he was Diamondbacks.
I thought it was something like that.
Brian Fuentes was a Rocky.
Yep. He was the Rockies' closer.
Yeah.
That's
Brian
a good one.
Fuentes.
Dustin Moore was a Rocky.
Ooh. We could even use Fuentes for the outside square.
Okay.
Dustin Moore would be great. If we use Dustin Moore. Is there some 90s Twins Rocky that you guys can help me out on or something? Before they were
the
what
Rockies
time
had
did they
like
come
the
here?
expansion.
93.
History.
93, yeah, the expansion draft Rockies. I don't remember.
Oh,
'cause-
LaTroy Hawkins. LaTroy would
Yeah,
work.
he
Yeah.
might be. What was? Sorry, God, we just named like four
If
players.
Dustin Moore is right, Dustin Moore is a
But
great.
who was the one that Declan had before Dustin Moore?
Brian Fuentes.
Let's try. See, Fuentes might actually be a high one for Rocky. If, like Rockies fans are
He was
thinking
good
in
there.
their short history, he was a really good closer for them. Well, we know Dustin Moore is going to be low.
Yeah,
so.
that's a good one. I
Okay.
like that.
Jason
Dustin-
Marquis also pitched for the Rockies.
Oh God. How do you spell Moore? What was it? Dustin.
MOHR.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
it's Dustin with an A, Dustan.
That's why. There
There
he
you
is.
Now,
What a
serving time.
Point four.
24.
And then, okay, any Twin who played any shortstop.
Puckett.
Puckett did play.
Puckett
did?
in Cleveland
He-
played shortstop. Now,
he
I don't
did.
know. Is that
It was like an extra inning. I remember watching that game on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
I'd
me
rather
too.
go.
The
I'd rather
difference
go
was
with
I
a
was drunk.
Nishioka?
Slappy.
Actually, dude, we could use Nishioka for the Born Outside the
Cesar
U.S.
Tovar played all 9 positions in one game.
Yeah.
You can even think current Twins, like Kyle Farmer played shortstop for the Twins. Like you
Yeah.
can think current Twins players even too.
Royce Lewis played shortstop.
Yep.
Pedro Florimone.
Florimone.
Actually, if you want to go really low on
Ooh.
that Born Outside the U.S.,
Oh.
any shortstop born outside the U.S., Pedro Florimone, Juan
Pedro
Castro,
Florimone, Juan Castro, Adam Everett.
Adam Everett.
We got options.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think if any of these guys also were options for
Danny Thompson.
Twin
Died-
shortstop.
He died of cancer in the 70s. Yeah, Twin shortstop who was traded to Texas in the Smalley trade.
We can go old school. Do you think he's going to be like how prominently was he featured at shortstop?
Well, it was the mid 70s Twins. There was no prominence at all.
Okay, let's do it.
Danny.
Danny Thompson.
Danny
yeah,
Thompson.
died of leukemia.
Jeez, like as when he was active, or like
Yeah, he'd been playing.
0.4.
Calvin traded him while he was sick. So Texas took him, and then I think he died a few years after that.
Okay.
While still with the Texas.
Do you want to see if we can go 6 Twins for these other 6 squares?
yeah, if we can.
Oh, absolutely.
So when I covered the Twins
Absolutely.
in the early 2010s, when Liam Hendricks was jettisoned from the organization before he found footing, he had a couple stints with the Royals and Blue Jays, and then he found footing with the White Sox and with the Oakland A's. So you could go Liam Hendricks for Royals and White Sox. If there's somebody else that's less obvious than Liam Hendricks. He's not a prominent Royal.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, he's also born outside the.
That's
the 50,
what I thought
but
you
we
were.
can.
That's what I thought you were talking about for a second.
Liam Hendricks. 0.2.
Point
Very
two,
nice.
baby.
Nice.
Hey, did Brian Fuentes play for the Royals too? I don't know if he did.
That sounds right. So Kansas City, Colorado, and a former Twin.
Oakland.
Minkiewicz never played for the Rockies. Right?
Butera fits this.
Butera does? Well, we can use Butera.
Remember when he went to Colorado and like maybe he's going to hit 5 home runs in the
Any
thin air?
pitchers? Slappy pitchers? Did you guys cover? Like relievers?
Did Latroy play for the Royals? Hawkins? He played for the
I
Rockies.
think of that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And he's
I
a
wouldn't
good.
swear to-
He's just a good grid guy in general.
Yeah, I wouldn't swear to that, but that might be right.
Did Kendrys Morales go to the Rockies?
Ooh,
Played for the Royals.
Yes, he did.
that's a good one.
I don't.
I don't remember.
It's got to be.
We know we have Butera if we
I
want.
think
though.
I think Butera's
Okay.
good. Let's Drew Butera too, right? Not Sal.
Be under 1%.
Correct. Yeah.
Under 1%.
2.
2%.
It's still
Okay.
good. That's good. That's it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Shortstop.
Well, there's a million that didn't play.
How about, I don't know why this is popping in my head, but didn't Uetni Betancourt, I forget how to pronounce his first name, Betancourt. He was a good hitting shortstop. He played for the Brewers. He played for the Rockies. He was a butcher in the field, but he was a very good hitting shortstop.
But he didn't play for the Twins.
No, I'm
Greg-
talking about shortstop for the Royals.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't play
I
for
know.
the Twins. We're trying to do the.
we're trying to do. Greg Gagne went from
Gagne?
here
Greg
to Kansas
Gagne.
City, but I don't think he's going to be.
Jeff Rebele.
Jeff
Jeff
Rebele.
Rebele. Jeff Rebele played for Twins, Royals, and then ended his career with the Orioles. But Gagne would work too.
Yeah, but he's going to be higher because he was a prominent shortstop.
I think Rebele's probably better, right?
Yes.
How do you spell Rebele?
Yep, he's right,
Right
there.
there.
Second guy. 92 to 2003. On Twitter now.
0.1.
Oh, is he? Look at that
Oh
mustache.
yeah.
It's a badass mustache.
He was a nice utility guy. I always liked him.
So now we're looking for players born outside the U.S., 50 states, and we're putting our another qualifier, and also were
Escobar.
Twins,
Eduardo
who
Escobar.
were White Sox, Rocky, and then a shortstop.
Lariano would work.
Yeah.
Escobar
really-
fits 2 of these squares. Yeah.
Yep, Lariano would. I feel like Lariano's not remembered as a sock.
Okay.
Jesse Crane is Canadian.
Is he?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Justin Morneau is Canadian. Played for the White Sox
If
and the
Liriano's
Rockies.
not, if Liriano's not remembered as a sock, that's probably a good one, right?
Yeah, he was just there for the 2 months.
And then,
And then-
Morneau would be good for the Rockies.
You remember their pitching coach
That might be
saw
high.
some things that he could fix with Francisco Liriano.
And then the Pittsburgh pitching coach did. Like he actually
Yeah.
had success with them.
Yeah.
0.2.
0.2. Okay, where are we at right now? So 0.4, 2.4, 2.8,
I don't do math.
3.2. We're at like 3.3 right now with 2 squares to go.
Okay.
Okay.
All Twins.
I think Mordo would be too high, Judd.
Okay.
He won a batting title there.
Levon
Yeah.
Levon.
Hernandez.
Levon.
Who are some other Rockies?
Rockies Twins.
Levon.
How many trades?
I'm
Morneau.
trying to think of. Did Nishek? No, Nishek wasn't
Yes!
a Rocky.
But he's-
Nishek was
but
a
he's-
Rocky.
But he's from,
He's from
Brooklyn Park.
Center, right?
Oh, that's right. He is.
What are you guys talking
that's
about?
Hilarious. God, that's so funny.
Sick. He looks Canadian.
I'm trying to think of relievers.
That was a very Judd-like.
I know.
He does
memory
look
lapse
Canadian.
by
I mean,
Declan.
He does look
He's
Canadian.
from the whole
I
story is
forgot.
he's from here.
I
I
forgot.
think, by the way, I think Henry Blanco played for the Rockies for a period.
Ooh.
Because he bounced
Oh,
around
yeah.
a lot of different National League teams.
Yeah.
Are we confident?
Not really, but why don't,
hold
why don't
on,
we do
wait.
this? Let's get the easy square first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born out, so literally any
what
shortstop
can we have- yeah,
who was a
let-
twin. Pedro Florimon is the one I threw out there. Born
Okay.
outside the U.S.
Okay.
Nishioka would work.
Okay.
He's also like
He might be
probably more
remembered for
top
being
of mind.
being so bad.
Yep.
0.1.
Perfect.
0.1.
Now, I would say this. If we feel comfortable Because I would like to get this right for sure. The Morneau one, how high do we think that would be? Like if that's our...
I think he did win a batting title.
He won a batting title, and
He did.
But he's Canadian. People don't think Canadians as
Right,
much.
but my point is, I would rather get... I think you're right on Blanco, but I'm not positive.
Oh,
I would hate to blow this right now.
The Troy Hawkins was definitely born here.
Don't look at the comments either, because I think
he's from-
someone threw Dennis Reyes in there. I saw it. I
Oh.
don't know if that. I don't know.
Damn it.
I mean, they're clearly cheating. But
Well, I wouldn't get that one.
I mean, did
Yeah,
we use?
Latroy's from
We didn't use
here,
Fuentes.
Indiana.
We didn't use Brian Fuentes.
we did not use Brian Fuentes.
Okay.
Are we sure? By the way, are we sure Brian Fuentes isn't from like California?
I'm not...
Oh,
I covered him. And
I don't know, man.
Very
and
fluent.
you once said,
Very
aren't you
fluent.
from California?
Very fluent.
All right.
I'm not 100% sure Brian Fuentes is from
Okay.
a foreign country.
Ubaldo. Oh no, I'm trying to use Twins. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of Rockies. I'm just thinking of Rockies.
There's a bunch. I mean, Larry Walker's Canadian, but
Right.
never
Yeah.
played for the Twins.
Yeah, there's a ton of...
Well, Levon Hernandez. Is that
Levon?
going to be too obvious? He got rocked with. He had like a 7 ERA with the Rockies.
No.
Obviously pitched for the Twins.
No, I'm
I
fine
feel,
with that.
I'm good with that.
Levon
Levon.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay.
Levon.
Devon.
Come on.
0.3. Oh, and it's a 3 rarity score.
It's a 3.
A 3 rarity score. and
Rarity score.
Our only
dudes.
problem was that 2%, damn it, Phil.
Oh,
That's
who was the
see here.
2% one again?
Butera.
Butera. How does Butera take up?
Because
the
there's
whole-
not a lot of...
Oh, dude,
Jamie?
you know Jamie Carroll. Can you guys
What?
see this?
Yeah, we can see
Oh, you
that.
see this? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I can see it.
Brian Fuentes.
Jamie Carroll.
He's from Chicago.
He's from Brian Fuentes from Merced, California.
Woo. Okay.
I love
right.
how
Jesus.
Phil's
Yeah.
test was super fluent.
Super
He was.
fluent.
He was super,
Super
fluent.
fluent.
Super fluent. And what was the other one we were gonna look up?
Jamie Carroll.
Henry Blanco.
Yeah.
Henry Blanco.
Denny
I
Hawking?
think he hit a bunch of home runs for Colorado, didn't he?
Denny Hawking was. I totally
Yeah,
spaced out on
Blanco.
Denny Hawking.
Blanco played for the Rockies in 1999
And he's from?
or 98, 99, somewhere in there. Henry Blanco is from Venezuela.
Well, we would've been safe.
Confirmed.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right, nice
It's
job,
still a great
guys.
score. It's
We
still a
had like
great
three straight losses.
We did
earlier.
our job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, we did.
We did our job. I wish we could say about those that we talk about on this show. They did their job.
Yeah, do your job. Well, Twins have to do their job and find a way to beat the Guardians shorthanded here. Starting with a doubleheader today. This is the Score North Twin Show. Click that like button and the subscribe button on the Score North Twin Show YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thank you for helping us grow this show on Apple, Spotify, too. A 5-star rating and a positive review would be very helpful. For Twins Beat podcaster Declan, the sports dad Judd, for Joe Ryan's triceps, I am Phil Mackey.
Come on,
See ya.
Joe. Come on.